How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its holiday sale. A lot of great deals we've already covered, and Wave 2 has kicked off, so I want to highlight some of the deals under the price of $20. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to ask you guys, please like this video and do leave a comment with your thoughts. It really does help out the channel a lot, and it is much appreciated. So let's get right into it. Let's kick things off with a couple of Assassin's Creed games. It wouldn't be a complete video without AC at least getting some mention. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Gold Edition is $14.99, while Assassin's Creed Odyssey Gold Edition is $19.99. Now we got Assassin's Creed in both kind of flavors. We got the classic style of Assassin's Creed in AC4 that you guys know I love. The Gold Edition includes the bonus content as well, so that's quite great. And Assassin's Creed 4 as a whole is just a tremendous game. I think Edward Kenway is one of the best main characters out of any of the Assassin's Creed games, and I feel like they could have done more with him as an MC, but his story was wrapped up, and yeah, there are rumblings that they're gonna remake Assassin's Creed 4. Does the game really need a remake? Not necessarily. I do want it in 60 frames per second on consoles, but yeah, they're gonna remake it, remaster it. It seems like everybody's remastering stuff, so AC4 getting a remaster wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. Kind of wild to think about the fact that it is a decade old. Yeah, last year was a decade. I would say 11 years, but like, yo, we just started January. Like, can't really say that a game from October of 2013 is 11 years old, but man, it still holds up well. Some of the water effects in this game look great. The naval combat is really solid, and let's see if they can spin it into its own game in Skull and Bones. But nonetheless, AC4, great deal there. Assassin's Creed Odyssey seems to be the newer style of Assassin's Creed title that everybody really enjoys the most. Valhalla and Origins obviously being the other ones. Believe it or not, guys, I just started another playthrough of Assassin's Creed Origins. I want to give these Assassin's Creed titles like a chance. You know, I've given them plenty of chances. It's just like the grind isn't really my cup of tea, and I like the older style of games, but nonetheless, AC Odyssey, you get, with the Gold Edition, the Season Pass, 2 major story arcs, Day 1 bonus mission, AC3 Remastered, and AC Liberation Remastered. So a lot of additional content on top of the base game. $19.99, again, good price here, especially with AC3 getting included as well. Next up, want to give a shout out to the Miasma Chronicles. This is done by the Bearded Ladies, the same studio that brought you the game Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. And this is very much in the same vein that it is a tactics RPG, very similar to, let's say, an XCOM. Can be very challenging. I do know post-launch that they did some updates and patches to actually rebalance the difficulty. The story is quite compelling, although towards the end, they kind of just ends abruptly, and they do a lot of plot twists and things like that, like a little abruptly. Overall, I enjoyed the game. I think $19.99 is a pretty good price. If you want to wait for it to be cheaper, by all means do that, but it came out back in May of last year, so it's still a relatively recent release, but yeah, 20 bucks for that. Next up, we have Mato Anomalies Digital Deluxe Edition, another relatively recent release, 11/24. The thing that I would compare this game to is like a lot of the classic SMT titles. It's not as good as those games, and this is very much like a B-tier JRPG, and B-tier might even put it lightly. I liked a lot of elements of it, though. I thought the story was interesting. I thought the characters were kind of fascinating, and, you know, the soundtrack was pretty good. Yes, is it a little bland in terms of visual presentation? Sure, but for $11.24, I think if you're the kind of guy that's trying to play every JRPG under the sun, like, this is a pretty decent price, and I'd give it a shout. Next up, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, 75% off for $14.99. This tells the entire story of DBZ. You guys know that I love this game. I thought it was fantastic, and does it have its issues here and there? Yeah, some of the there was a few cut portions that were a little bit jarring. Like the fight with Cell and Trunks is completely cut out, which is a little bit of a bummer. Like, you know, Juicehead Trunks, you know, just bulking non-stop and fighting Cell. I thought that fight was it was hilarious if nothing else, and they just cut that out in this game. There's some other stuff cut out that I found a little weird, but for the most part, it does a great job of retelling the DBZ story. For $14.99, it's great, and it's upgraded on PS5, looks great on there, and there is some DLC. Now, $14.99 doesn't get you the DLC, but the DLC content, the first season pass, and yes, there's 2 season passes. The first season pass, the big piece of content, is the Future Trunks, like, story arc, where he fights the androids from the other timeline, and Future Gohan, and all that kind of stuff. And then, so far of Season Pass 2, you have a Bardock episode and an original Dragon Ball World Tournament episode. There's still another piece of DLC that's going to come out hopefully sometime soon. And I've been saying that I hope it's some content with Broly, but we'll see if that comes to fruition. Next up, Devil May Cry HD Collection and 4 Special Edition Bundle. Now, the OG DMC titles certainly show their age. DMC 2 is, like, hated upon by people. I thought it was, it's not as good as DMC 1 and 3, but it is, I don't think it's, like, the worst thing in the world. But here you get DMC 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is okay. The retreading of content is, like, kind of lame in 4, but overall, I still thought DMC 4 was an alright game. You're getting 4 titles here for $14.84. Just keep in mind, Devil May Cry, these classic titles do show their age, like, quite a bit. They were, like, revolutionary action games at their time, but at this point, like, yo, DMC 5. Like, DMC 5 is fire, but, you know, these games do show their age, but if you're trying to play all the Devil May Cry games and be a lore master of DMC, like, I guess, go ahead and pick that up. And they're still fairly decent action titles. Next up, the Resident Evil Triple Pack. Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. Obviously, the OG Resident Evil 4. OG RE4 is still very much worth playing. Like, I wish I did another playthrough of RE4 right before the RE4 remake came out. I'm doing that this time around. I'm doing the smart move with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming out. I'm doing a replay of the original Final Fantasy VII Remake and Crisis Core Reunion. You guys know me, like, FF7's goated, so gotta play all those. But with Resident Evil 4, I just waited for the remake to come out, and I played through that. Obviously, I played RE4 when it initially came out, and it was tremendous back then. And from the last time I played it, which wasn't that long ago, obviously a few years before the remake came out, I still had, like, a really good time with it. RE5 is good. It does have its shortcomings, but it's a fairly solid game, and RE6 is the one that people meme on until the end of time. So do I, but you know what, it's still a decent little game to play through. It totally went the action heavy route, but what can you do? That's the route. Capcom back in RE6 days was not the Capcom of today. Let's just put it that way. Next up, we got Bloodborne Complete Edition Bundle, $17.49. This includes the Old Hunters DLC. Bloodborne's awesome. It's my favorite From Software game. I think it's great. Yes, the technical aspects of this game really do handcuff it, but Bloodborne is an awesome, awesome game. I love the setting to this game, think it's great, and again, I'm not big on the From Software games, but Bloodborne is one that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I picked it up the day it came out, loved it, and thought it was a great game, and obviously people are begging for a remaster, a PC release, and I'm sure Sony will eventually do it. Look, like, if we're talking about licenses to print money, Bloodborne is a license to print money. You put that on PlayStation 5 and PC, that sounds like 3 to 5 million copies right off the rip. Like, come on, man. Like, it can't be that big of an investment to remaster this game. People legit just want 60 FPS and, like, pretty much nothing else. It must be one of the easier upgrades to do, and, yeah, you could probably charge 50, 60 bucks for it if you to do it, but it's not confirmed yet, so for now, you got the original. Tetris Spec Connected, 50% off for $19.99. Brothers, it's Tetris, but it's done in a fantastic way. The particle effects of this game is great. The soundtrack is awesome. The theme song is so good. Just go YouTube the theme song and you listen to that and you'll be like, all right, yo, time to play this game, because the soundtrack is great. It is available on PlayStation Plus Extra, but the game itself is awesome, and I would strongly recommend it, even if you're not the craziest Tetris fan in the world. Next up, we got Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2, 62% off for $15.19. You got Mega Man X 1 through 8 here. These are games I grew up with. As some of you guys know, when I got my PlayStation 1, my very first console, I got Spyro and I got Mega Man X4, and I didn't have a memory card back then, so, and I didn't even know what a memory card was, so, like, when I was playing Mega Man X4, it was one life. You die, it's over for you, and that was a lot of fun. Obviously, you have the multiple lives, but I'm talking about when those expire, and it's game over, bro. You're going back to the beginning, and that was my experience with X4 when I was a kid, but loved X4, loved X5, X6, I get it, people are in love with that. X7 is what it is, and X8, and obviously the original 3 are classics. They're a little bit before my time, and I played the original X via the X Collection that came out on PS2, but I love that game as well. It's unfortunate that they don't have Maverick Hunter X. If they had Maverick Hunter X in this collection would honestly be goated, but, you know, it is what it is. $15.19 is pretty good when you get 8 games. Next up, Sakura Wars Digital Deluxe Edition, $11.99. Yo, this isn't a JRPG for everybody, okay? It's kind of cringe, and you got, like, the romance aspect going on for it, but it's got some charming elements too. I like the visual style, and this is one that goes super under the radar. It is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, and Sakura Wars was one of those IPs that really never popped off here stateside. But yeah, we got a new entry on PS4. I thought it was pretty decent, and honestly, like, if you're into the Japanese, like, anime tropes with all that stuff, I think you'll have a good time with it, and you're paying 12 bucks for it. I think overall it's a good deal. And lastly, SCARLET NEXUS Deluxe Edition is $14.39. You guys know my opinions on Scarlet Nexus if you've been following this channel. I think the game's fantastic. I think it's a super underrated JRPG. I hope that we get a sequel at some point. I know it cracked 1 million copies sold, and it's a little bit over that. I don't know if that was really successful for what the expectations were, but I thought the game was great. You had 2 playable main characters, Yuito and Kasane, made the game worthwhile to go through twice, given the branching paths and things like that. You know, soundtrack was really good, story was good, battle system was really good. The caveat to this game is that a lot of the story is told through like a visual novel style, which I understand people aren't going to be as into it as, you know, regular cutscenes and whatnot, and they have a few of those, but I still thought it worked really well, and for $14.39, I think it's a damn good deal. So check that out as well. That's going to do it for me. A lot of great deals available right now. Links to all of these, as always, will be in the description box below. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.